What's up, gang? Tim Newbold here from Skillfire. Anyone who's been following us for a little while will know that we're all about helping teams and businesses achieve incredible things using the objectives and key results framework. We've been at this for a really long time and we've found a lot of ways that really can help you succeed, but can also really help you avoid some challenges. And today I'm going to be covering one of the really big ones. It's all about how do you embed OKR into the team so it's a constant focus for them. And that's all about using the weekly check-in and confidence vote. Hang with me to the end of the video where I'm actually going to run you through an agenda that you can use that really gives you an ultimate focus for the team. It's using a meeting format we call the high impact meeting. It's something you hold every week to make a really radical impact. So where does OKR tend to go wrong? Probably the number one is where we don't manage the change properly. If you haven't introduced OKR to the team and they don't understand why they're doing it with the right kind of rationale, it's not going to work. Number two, though, is how do you bake it into their daily and weekly operating rhythm? Because quite often you'll set an OKR at the start of the quarter and you'll hammer away and you'll come back and check in on it at the end of the quarter. That's way too long and way too late to be doing this. This needs to be your ultimate focus. So, what exactly is the weekly check-in? What it is very simply a time to get together as a team and review how confident you are about achieving your OKR. So, what you would do normally in advance of this meeting is review each of your key results. You do this individually because we want to get a diverse set of ideas and inputs from the team, and we want to avoid groupthink. So what we're going to do is have a review of each key result and we're going to score that confidence level. So for key result one, let's say we use a simple format. It could be a smiley face, an indifferent face, or a sad face. Smiley face meaning that we're really confident that we're going to hit that key result. Indifferent face meaning we're a bit unsure, we might not be able to hit it, needs a bit of work. And sad face is, yeah, look, we're really going to struggle here. We're going to need to get some support to succeed. So if everyone sits down and does this before they check in at the start of the week, you're going to get these different insights and ideas. There's another way of doing it where you can actually put it on a point scale. So those who are familiar with scoring their OKRs at the end of a quarter, you generally do it on a scale of 0 to 1. The same kind of thing can apply here. You know, you might say 1 is, yep, we're going to nail this key result. We're super confident. 0.7, we're a little bit unsure. It's going to be a bit of a stretch, but we think we'll get there. 0.4 probably means this is looking pretty dicey, or 0.3 looking pretty average here. We might not hit it. And finally 0 is, yeah, we've got no chance. At the lower end of the scale, you're basically crying for help at this point. Now, by everyone doing that before the meeting, you can walk in at the start of the week and have a really focused discussion around what do we need to do right now to make an impact. If the work you do is important, which I certainly hope it is, then it is worth getting together as a team at the start of the week and getting clear on what is most important right now. What do we really need to focus on and really make an impact on? So this is where that weekly check-in comes in. You can go and review the confidence scores that everyone has for each of their key results and have a discussion. One really big thing we might find out is someone is really confident versus another person who's really low confidence. So again, key result one, you might have this really big diversity of thought between whether they're confident or not. That creates an incredible discussion. Why do we have these differing opinions? Have the discussion. Maybe there is something where we haven't thought of a particular problem. Maybe a team member doesn't quite understand what's going on to the full extent, so we can get them up to speed and they're going to be a bunch more confident. Whatever the case might be, it's a really important conversation to have. The next one to have is, well, okay, regardless of where we all sit, let's presume we've aligned on the same score. If the score is looking pretty high, we probably don't need to talk about it much more. If the score, on the other hand, is looking pretty low, let's say we're at a 0.3 or maybe we've got a bit of a sad face for our key result, then we need to have a discussion of, okay, what are we going to do to get this back on track? There's going to be 3 things that you'll cover off as a part of this. Number one is, well, what can we do within our team to increase our confidence? Do we need to go and get some more data? Maybe there's some things we don't know. Do we need to change our approach a little bit and maybe rework things a little bit differently? Change the plan? Whatever it might be, what can we do internally to make that happen? Now, if after that discussion, we can't actually increase that confidence score, if we're still thinking it's looking pretty dicey, The next one would be, okay, who else can we lean on in the business? Is there anyone else in the organization that can help us increase this confidence? Maybe we need some grunt work to help us do some additional work. Maybe we need some ideas or insights from different parts of the business. Whatever the case might be, it will help you go out and understand. Number 3 is, who do I need to raise this up to? If you thought, well, we can't make an impact as a team, we've realized that this key result isn't going to nail it, well, okay, who can we talk to in the business? If we don't think that we can talk to anyone around the business at the team level, well, let's run this up the tree and see what the leadership team says. So I might take it to the team lead, I might take it to the executive team and say, hey, we've got this challenge, we can't get past this point, what do you think we should do? Getting that advice and that insight can be a really, really powerful thing. Now, let's say we've gone through, had that conversation. Why is this so important rather than just having a blanket progress score? Here's why. There's going to be a lot of cases when you're working on your OKRs that you're going to have some early and quick wins. So let's say we want to get 100 marketing leads, right? Marketing qualified leads, that's one of our key results. We've got a big advertising campaign going out and we've got our fingers crossed. Let's say in the first month of the quarter, we go out on the socials and we hammer it hard and we get to 50 leads. So you're basically 50% of the way there and you're only a month in. That's looking pretty good, right? Well, this is where the confidence score comes in, because what might have happened is we've actually exhausted all the avenues we think we had. We got through a lot more than we thought we could in a quarter, but we're actually not sure now where we're going to get that extra 50 leads. And this is absolutely critical, because if you just went on progress, you'd continue through to the end of the quarter at 50%. What would happen in this instance is you might say, yeah, we're at 50%, but our confidence is universally low. We need to go and get that help and support. Let's go make it happen. And this is where the magic happens. It is the discussion and the alignment on where are we at on our goals and what do we need to do to get there. And this is why, by baking it into the rhythm of every week, it's a real game changer. It is something where we're thinking about this goal absolutely constantly and seeing how we can make progress on it. Again, if our work is important, then it's worthwhile spending time every week getting together as a team to focus on what's most important. Now, does it need to be weekly? That's another common question. Look, it really depends. If you're an executive team, you probably already have some sort of weekly meeting of some sort. In that case, I'd say, yeah, stick with it weekly. If you and your team don't have a regular meeting, good excuse to try out a weekly meeting just to get the wheels turning and give it a bit of a go. If you're a team that works in more of a software product space, a lot of those teams follow something called Scrum, where they work towards a fortnightly cadence. So they get together every fortnight and plan out the next 2 weeks worth of work. If you're in that situation, I'd say, yes, stick with your fortnightly. You don't need to do it weekly, whatever the case might be. If it's over a 3-week period, that's getting a little bit too long, because before you know it, the cycle will be over. The quarter will be over and you've made no progress. So you want to make sure you're having that absolutely regularly. Now here's to the really powerful part. As promised, this is where I want to share with you the agenda for the weekly impact meeting. This is something where you get together as a team, hash out what you need to focus on for the week and really smash it out. And this is such a game changer for so many teams. I absolutely love it. Now, if you hang back right to the end of the video, I'm going to share with you where you can find a template that's going to help you capture your confidence scores and all these kind of things. But let's get into this meeting agenda. At number 1, starting it right off, really simple. It's an introduction. It is just getting everyone into the room and having a good, rich discussion around how are we going and what are our priorities. Now, this meeting can go anywhere from 30 minutes to 90 minutes, depending on what sort of team you are and the needs that you have. I'll leave it to you to work out what is the right length. So we want to keep this initial discussion super sharp and super focused. So we'll smash through that 5-minute sort of discussion around, okay, here's what's happening, here's what our quick wins were. Let's whip around the room and just have a really good chat. Now that we've had that discussion, we're going to talk about our health metrics. Now, if this is a new concept to you, I'm not going to go too deep on it right now. You'll need to have a bit of research on your own. What I will do is include a video either here or here, somewhere there, that talks about the difference between OKRs and health metrics, or KPIs as a lot of people call them. So the short version is your OKRs are about growth and improvement and what's most important around execution. What do we really need to get on top of? What do we need to create and do? Your health metrics are really just around how do we know we're running well as a business. So during this topic, you're just going to be reviewing your health metrics and pointing out anything where you have a concern. Maybe there's going to be some numbers that are heading off track. So the kind of things that are your health metrics are going to be items like employee engagement. They're going to be things like service level agreements and customer service times and customer turnaround times. As long as everything's within a happy territory and we're okay with where these numbers are, we don't need to talk about them. And this is the next important part about this meeting. We're moving fast and we're parking items for deeper discussion to a later part of the meeting. So all of these items have to be facilitated and structured really tightly. Again, it's a weekly impact meeting. It's about having a radical impact for the week. Keep it short, keep it focused, and keep these items time boxed. Moving on to our next item, this is where we do the OKR check-in. This is where we review the confidence scores that we have. And we're not going to problem solve here, much like the health metrics item. We're going to just identify issues and park those for a conversation when we have a moment a little bit later in the meeting. These topics here, we're just going to go through and hear what those confidence scores are. If people are misaligned, let's have a quick chat and see if we can get aligned. And let's identify which key results we think are at risk and we really need to come in and focus on. So that is a very short and sharp and focused conversation. Let's not go into too much detail. You might do a quick couple of updates on the projects and things that are happening there that relate to those key results, but let's not go too deep. It's very high level and moving fast. The next item is the knockout round. And this is where we're going to close everything off from a strategic execution perspective and health of the business perspective. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? Is there any other projects that we know are happening that might not be an OKR, but they've popped up and they've drawn some attention? Or possibly it's an issue from previous weeks that we've had to dig back up and come back to. Maybe it's closing off actions from previous meetings. Maybe it's been an issue we've been tracking in these sort of meetings. This is a bit of an ongoing discussion that can sort of happen. This is that item to cover all those off and close that off. Really powerful sort of stuff. But again, keep it focused and move fast. Now, this is where we get to the fun part of the meeting. And I do mean fun part. It's where we prioritize, discuss, and act, okay? We prioritize based on the session so far. What topics do we need to talk about further? Do we need to problem solve on any of the health metrics or any of the OKR topics? Is there anywhere where we need to go deeper? Do we need to get more support? Whatever it might be, capture those items and prioritize them and start talking through them. A little bit of a tip here I'm going to share with you is how you can discuss them. That's the next step. Because you're going to have no doubt quite a few topics to work through, prioritize them and make sure that when you're discussing them, you time box them. And a really simple way to do this is to discuss a topic for 5 minutes or so. And once you get to the end of that 5-minute time box, literally set a timer on your phone, discuss it and decide as a group, do we want to keep going on that topic or do we want to move on? An even better and faster way of doing it is the thumbs up vote. Now, if this is new to you, it's really simple. Thumbs up means, yeah, I want to keep going on this topic. Let's do another round, another 5-minute round. Thumbs to the side is, meh, up to the will of the group. I don't really mind too much. And thumb down, it means, sorry, no offense, but we want to move on. Next topic, we've spoken about this enough. It's a really nice way to get your meetings moving quickly and flowing fast. So during this prioritize, discuss, act session, you're going to make sure that you're really moving quickly and you're going to move through those topics at speed. Now, before you move on to the next topic, as you're going through each of these items, make sure you've come up with an action plan. What are you going to do about that topic? And we're going to get back to that in a moment. How and where do we capture this? But make sure you've come to a conclusion there. And this is where we turn this into a really high impact meeting because we do the wrap up. And this is often where so many meetings just go terribly wrong because we end the meeting in haste, everyone wanders off and there's no clear agreements in place. So how do we do that with the wrap up? Well, we go through everything that was discussed in the meeting, particularly during our prioritize, discuss, and act section, and we come up with a plan. What are our actions? What are the decisions? And what are the communications? So the actions, that's a pretty simple one. What did we agree to do during the meeting? Is there anything that someone needs to take away and own? Just make sure with every action, there's some sort of time-bound element to it. When's it going to be done by and who's owning it? Those two pieces will make it really impactful. We then agree what are the key decisions that we made. So maybe there's no action. Maybe we decided they're not going to look into a particular project anymore. Maybe we decided that we're going to change how we run our meeting. Whatever the case might be, there's a decision but no action. Capture that and make sure it's recorded. And finally, communications. This is particularly important if you're a leadership team. And again, this is something that we so often forget. You are there to engage and inspire the entire business. Make sure you're thinking about what do we need to communicate out off the back of our meetings. Now, if you're a software delivery team or whatever team, it's still important to think about, do we need to go and communicate to anyone? Do we need to go talk about a decision that was made? Maybe we're deciding not to do a project and we need to communicate to a certain group that this project's not going to happen now. Whatever it might be, make sure you close that off. Now, before I get to the template, this is the last and little bit of it. If you're finding this content valuable, please hit subscribe and that little bell. I really want to keep you guys up to date with what's happening, give you the latest thinking that we're working through. And for me, because we're so early in this journey, it's just such an exciting, it's really cool when we get those likes come through, put it that way. So every time there's a like or a subscribe, it's amazing. So on that note, if you like the video, like it, hit that little thumbs up button, go for it. If you don't like it, that's really good feedback for us. Put the thumbs down and drop a note in the comments why. If you did like it, share why you liked it. Let us know. We're always going to read the comments and respond to any comments, particularly any questions that you guys have. Finally, here it is, the template for capturing your confidence scores. It's a pretty simple design and we're going to share it both in a picture format, but also you can just download it as a PDF or as a PowerPoint or use the shared document. So we're going to put it up on Google so you can just literally go in there, make a copy and use it with your team right here, right now. It's not too technical, it's pretty simple, easy to use, but check it out. And again, in the comments, let us know what you think about all of this. Everyone have a wonderful day, or if it's nighttime for you, have a wonderful night. Talk soon. Peace out.